Guess what, sis? It's time for you to wake up.
Give me your wig. Give me your wig. Give me your wigs.
Rise and shine. Give me your wigs. Before I get into it, I just want to say I really do apologize for those of you who have been sending some stuff to my P.O. box. I actually have gotten so horrible at checking it. But I wanted to say thank you so much to Tay, Sonia, Anna, and Basi. Basi sent me this. I was like, I feel special. But yeah, I just wanted to thank everyone who has ever sent me anything to my P.O. box. I see it all. I know that I'm so slow at checking it. I need to get better. I do apologize, but I really appreciate it. Your letters, your gifts, everything. Like, they mean the world. I also want to thank those of you who are continuing to go over to patreon.com/Adrian Expression and signing up for early videos, extra content, articles, you name it. That also helps me out as well. I appreciate all the support on all the platforms, okay? Now let's get into it. Y'all already know we start with the cute stuff before we get into the politics. First of all, how to get away with murder. Viola Davis put this tweet up and I was just like, oh my goodness, the actress jumped out, the beauty jumped out, the blackness, the black excellence jumped out, and all she did was post a picture. You can tell that I love Viola Davis, but How to Get Away with Murder is coming back on September 26th. It is going to be the final season, and honestly, I'm very happy that they decided to make this the final season, because what happened with Scandal does not need to happen with How to Get Away with Murder. Just tell us a good ass story, end it on a high note, and do not drag this shit on and on and on and on. I cannot wait for this show to have me on the edge of my seat. Girl Laurel disappeared like a genie that was tired at the end at the end of the season, and so we got to figure out where sis is. Laurel! Viola Davis's JCPenney wig was shaking, sis, but not stirred. We're gonna see what happens next. Also, since I'm on the topic of TV shows, Titans is coming back, and I'm very excited about that. I think that is September 6th is coming back on DC streaming. The plot was the strongest part. If y'all are wondering and you haven't watched it yet, the plot was the strongest part of that show. But also the nostalgia as well, even though they're obviously not identical to the cartoon Teen Titans, but it's just, oh my goodness, it just does something for my spirit, and I wait for that. I wait for a new episode every week when the show is on. So make sure that you are waiting on the first week of September to check it out. All right, so after all that shit Popeyes was talking on social media, I mean, they were just dragging. I think they had their foot on Chick-fil-A's neck on Twitter. After all that shit they was talking, they ran out of chicken. Sis, I don't know how that happens, the way that y'all be chopping up and slicing up and dicing up these chicken every goddamn day. I don't know who planned that out. Somebody said it was supposed to, don't take my word for this shit, because I just saw it somewhere, but somebody said it was supposed to last to the end of September, and it's already out. I mean, y'all had them lines wrapping around the whole blocks and stuff. I mean, my friend Gio was waiting in line for, and I was on FaceTime with him. He was waiting in line for a good minute, and then he got to the front, and they said, we out of chicken. He's like, God damn. I don't know how that happened. I don't know what farm they have to call to get that shit back together. I don't know which logistics manager fucked that shit up, but they had to release a whole little like advertisement basically saying, y'all, a whole announcement saying we ran out of chicken. I'm just like, that's embarrassing. Y'all was doing all that, running your mouth. I was doing this, running your mouth doing this. You know, I know that y'all about to be running back to homophobic ass Chick-fil-A. It's not really that surprising, but yeah, I'm sorry for y'all. I don't know what to tell y'all. I don't know if you can take the eggs that are currently in your in your fridge and maybe sit on them and see if there's something will hatch so that you have something to eat, but that's, I don't know. It's honestly a good thing for them Popeyes employees, because I've seen some of y'all literally jumping through the drive-through windows to try and beat up some of these people. I heard some people getting shot up too, but I know that some business executive is on a yacht enjoying all that money that y'all gave them. So I know y'all saw this. White TV anchor Alexis Ohanian had to go up and apologize for saying that her black Coco TV co-anchor Jason Hackett looks like a gorilla from the Oklahoma City Zoo. I don't even. It's not funny, but it's so predictable. You see what I'm saying? It's not funny, but it's just so expected. Of course a white woman would have to go up and apologize for immediately saying that so her black co-worker and apparently best friend looks like a gorilla on live TV. On live TV. Now, my thing is, if sis is calling him a gorilla on live TV, I don't know what is this saying behind closed doors? What is this saying about him behind closed doors? Sis had no hesitation doing that shit on live TV. Let me tell you something. Let me show you a little part of this apology.
I said something yesterday that was inconsiderate, that was inappropriate, and I cried.
Sis was giving us very much so, I'm just like, how am I supposed to breathe with no air? I had to change that shit up. How you supposed to cry with no tears? You see what I'm saying? That's that cloud-colored woman cry if I ever seen one. We gotta, and petting him like he was still at the zoo. That's why I said on Twitter, petting him like he's still at the zoo. Get me out of here, sis. So Alexis, Serena Williams' man, went up to her match with her and Maria and wore this Dare shirt. It's just like, the shade is actually indescribable. I don't even know if that, we'd have to move that from shade to just pure darkness at that point. The way that he threw those shots at Miss Doped Up Ass Maria by just wearing a shirt, that's iconic. And of course, Serena Williams won. That puts her at 20-2 at the first round of the US Open. I mean, we've been new. The only thing that I would just request is that the media stop talking about this as if it's a rivalry. I don't understand how they keep having her and Maria in the same sentence over and over. Sis lost 20 times. Hang it up. It's no rivalry. Take your act, do not pass go. You will not be able to collect $200. Take your ass back to the starting point and go back to training, sis. So just a really quick side note, Jadzena is up here promoting his latest album, I think. And one of the clips I saw was him talking about polyamory and all that. But another one was him at Sway in the Morning, I think, and he was talking about how the real history of homophobia in Africa, and he was saying basically what I had been talking about a lot is the fact that colonialism didn't bring over homosexuality. He talked about, there was an openly gay king in one country and homosexual acts depicted in caves in another country, and the fact that when 2 men and 2 women were together in another country, it was seen as more powerful. So yeah, colonialism didn't bring over homosexuality, it brought over homophobia. Homosexuality is not a European import, even though that's a common misunderstanding, misconception. I thought that was really cool. I hope that more and more people start to open their eyes, because it would really reduce the amount of violence and hatred and bigotry that we have to face in this world, especially as Black LGBT people. So we're heading into the world of politics, and to start it off, I'm just gonna talk really quickly about what Ilhan Omar has been going through. Apparently Republicans in Alabama have approved some resolution trying to get Ilhan Omar out of Congress. So this is what Ilhan Omar had to say about that. It's just like, you're dragging me, you're trying to clean up politics. How about you don't elect these accused child molesters? I just love that these women have, and the resistance, period, the squad, has their feet on y'all's necks, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Now, I read this next headline and I wanted to fight somebody because Trump is acting like Hurricane Dorian isn't out there just swirling around anyway. But apparently Trump's DHS, Department of Homeland Security, is pulling like $271 million from like FEMA, I think also from like TSA and stuff, to support Trump's border enforcement efforts. So basically caging more people up. Now, I think 155 million of those dollars is coming directly from FEMA, and as we know, Hurricane Dorian is already sucking up ocean water and about to hit, I think, Central Florida. For the most part, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but for the most part, I think it kind of swerved past Puerto Rico, or is not hitting it as hard as we thought that it would. Either way, there's no excuse for blue tarps and stuff to be still on the roofs of these people in Puerto Rico since 2017, and Trump went up there basically trying to blame Puerto Rico for being in the path of Dorian. Like, girl, we already allocated so much money to Puerto Rico again? Like, what do you mean? You acting like Puerto Rico called the hurricane to the island. What are y'all talking about? So yeah, we see what this administration's priorities are. It's not surprising. It's not anything new. But when you see it happening in real time, that their racism, their anti-immigrant, their cruel and inhumane efforts take priority over saving the lives of people who will no doubt need this money when these disasters strike, it is very scary. It is literally life or death, and that's why I always talk about these topics, because mindsets turn to rhetoric, rhetoric turns to policy, policy affects lives and can change or take them. So that's why I will always talk about it. And lastly, in the petty world of politics, Mr. Bolsonaro, he is the president of Brazil. He was offered like 20 million euros from France, I think, but he's not going to accept it until he gets an apology from President Macron, president of France. Now, the president of France was honestly just on social media defending his wife because the president of Brazil was up there disrespecting her. Macron, Mr. France, was just like, I find his words very disrespectful or some shit, and he's gonna retract his defense of his wife. And it's just like, we have really put the fate of the planet in these weak ass, corny ass men with fragile masculinity and fragile egos. How are you going to not accept aid while the Amazon is burning in your goddamn backyard just because the president of France was defending his wife against your ass? I hate, it's like a soap opera except people, whole ecosystems die. I hate it. And then they will be the first ones to say that women are too sensitive and can't govern shit. I hate to see it. I'm so tired of it. On that note, thank you so much for watching. Make sure that those of you who are in Florida or anywhere around the hurricane, please be safe. Let's get these idiots out of office so that we can finally have a good goddamn evening.